You know what gets me every single year? You spend money on good soil, you buy the right seeds, you water on schedule, you do everything the bag tells you to do, and still your plants look sad. Yellowing leaves, weak stems, vegetables that barely grow, and you're standing there thinking, what am I doing wrong? So what do most gardeners do? Same thing almost everyone does. They add more fertilizer, buy a new product, try a different brand, dig up the plant and start over. And next season, same problem, different plant, same dead end. Here's the truth nobody tells you at the garden center. The problem isn't what's growing above the soil. The problem is what's happening inside it. Soil isn't just dirt, it's a living system. And when that system breaks down, nothing you plant on top of it will ever truly thrive, no matter how much you water it, feed it, or fuss over it. And here's what's even harder to hear. The things quietly destroying your soil, you're probably doing them right now, today, without even knowing it. In this video, we're going through 6 everyday mistakes that secretly poison your soil. For each one, I'll tell you exactly what the mistake is, why it kills your plants from the root up, and how to fix it starting this week. And stick around to the end because I'm saving one technique that I've never seen in any gardening book. It's simple, it's free, and it could change everything about how your soil behaves next season. Let's get into it. Here's the big idea behind everything in this video. Healthy soil is alive. Underneath your feet right now, there are billions of tiny living things, bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms, all working together to feed your plants. Scientists call this the soil food web. Think of it like a team. Every player has a job. When the whole team works together, your plants get fed, roots grow deep, and your garden thrives. But when even a few players get knocked out, the whole system falls apart. Most gardening advice attacks the symptoms, yellow leaves, weak growth, dying plants, but the real problem is deeper. You've been trying to fix what you can see. Meanwhile, the living system underground is quietly breaking down. Healthy soil grows healthy plants. It really is that simple. Now let's walk through all 6 mistakes, what they are, why they damage your soil, and exactly how to stop them. Mistake 6: walking through your garden beds. Here's a mistake almost nobody talks about, and almost everybody does. You walk through your garden to water, you step in to pull a weed, you squeeze past a plant to check on the one behind it. It feels harmless, it looks harmless, but underneath your feet something is quietly being destroyed. Here's the mistake. Every time you step on garden soil, you are compressing it. The more you walk on the same spots, the tighter that soil gets. This is called soil compaction, and it is one of the most damaging things that can happen to your garden. Here's why it kills your plants. Healthy soil is not just dirt. It is about 50% open space, tiny air pockets and tunnels created by worms, roots, and microorganisms. Those air pockets matter. They carry oxygen down to the roots. They let water soak in instead of running off. They give roots room to grow deep and spread wide. When you walk on the soil, those pockets collapse. Compacted soil reduces the rate of water movement through the ground, and roots must push harder just to grow through it. Plant roots simply cannot grow downward through heavily compacted soil, so they stay shallow, weak, and easy to stress. Here's exactly how to fix it. Stop walking in your growing beds. It really is that simple. Set up permanent pathways between your beds using wood, gravel, or stepping stones. Keep your beds narrow enough, no more than 4 feet wide, so you can reach the center from either side without stepping in. If your soil is already compacted, loosen it gently with a garden fork, then top it with compost and never step on it again. Mistake 5: rinsing your garden tools directly over your beds. This one is sneaky, really sneaky. You clean your tools, which is actually the right thing to do. You rinse off that shovel or spray down those pruning shears. And where does all that water drain? Straight into the soil you are about to plant in. And if you used bleach to disinfect those tools, that runoff just went into your garden. Here's the mistake. Disinfecting tools with bleach and then rinsing or dripping that solution into your garden beds. Many gardeners do this without even thinking about it because the tools look clean, so it feels like you are doing the right thing. Here's why it kills your plants. Your soil is full of living things that work for your plants around the clock. Beneficial bacteria, helpful fungi, earthworms, tiny microorganisms that break down nutrients and deliver them to roots. Bleach does not know the difference between bad organisms and good ones. The University of Minnesota Extension clearly states, Do not pour bleach solution into your garden, as it can harm plants and beneficial soil organisms. Bleach kills the beneficial bacteria, fungi, and earthworms that create healthy, aerated soil, leaving the ground compacted and lifeless. Once those organisms are gone, your soil stops functioning. Nutrients sit in the dirt, but nothing delivers them to the roots. Here's exactly how to fix it. Disinfect your tools, but do it away from your garden. Use a bucket. Rinse tools over a driveway, a utility sink, or any surface that drains away from your beds. If you want a safer option, 70% isopropyl alcohol works well on tool blades, dries quickly, and leaves no harmful residue in your soil. Clean tools, healthy soil both matter. Mistake 4. Reusing the same potting soil year after year. Every spring it is so tempting. Last year's soil is still sitting right there in the pot. It looks fine, it feels fine, why throw it away? So you drop new plants right in, and then you wonder why they struggle from the start. Here's the mistake. Reusing old potting soil without refreshing or replacing it, especially in containers and raised beds season after season. It seems like a smart way to save money, but what is actually sitting in that pot is not the same soil you started with. Here's why it kills your plants. Potting soil is not just dirt. It starts as a light, fluffy mix full of nutrients in tiny air pockets, but after one growing season, plants have already pulled most of those nutrients out. The structure breaks down and collapses. Most peat moss-based potting soils are only designed to last a year or one growing season. After that, the soil starts to compact, drainage worsens, and nutrients run out. And that is not even the worst part. Viruses, fungi, and bacteria from last season's plants will remain in that potting soil long after the plant is gone, ready to attack your new plants the moment they go in. You are essentially planting into a trap. Here's exactly how to fix it. Do not throw everything away, just refresh it. Remove all old roots and dead plant material, then mix that old soil 50-50 with fresh potting mix. Add a scoop of compost to feed the microorganisms back to life. If your previous plants had any disease, skip the refresh completely, replace that soil entirely and start clean. Old soil costs you more than new soil ever will. Mistake 3. Dumping too much compost into your soil. Compost is gold for your garden, everyone says so more compost must mean more gold, right? Not exactly, and this is where a lot of well-meaning gardeners accidentally poison the very soil they are trying to save. Here's the mistake. Piling on thick layers of compost every season, thinking that if a little helps, a lot helps even more. You see the bag, you think good stuff, and you keep adding, but compost is not a case of the more the better. Here's why it kills your plants. When you add too much compost, the nutrients in it, especially phosphorus, start to build up in the soil faster than your plants can use them. High phosphorus levels make it harder for plants to absorb iron and manganese, showing up as yellowing between the leaf veins. High phosphorus levels are also toxic to mycorrhizal fungi, the very organisms that deliver water and nutrients directly to plant roots. On top of that, excessive nitrogen from too much compost can produce ammonia, a gas that burns roots, stunts growth, and can kill seedlings outright. You added compost to help your plants. Instead, you locked the doors and took away the key. Here's exactly how to fix it. Follow what the science actually says. For existing vegetable beds, add just 1/4 to 1 inch of compost per year. That is the recommendation from Oregon State University Extension. Work it into the top 8 to 12 inches of soil, and before adding anything, do a simple soil test. Most garden centers sell them cheaply. If your phosphorus is already high, skip the compost entirely that season. Feed your soil carefully, it will thank you. If this is already making you rethink your garden, drop a comment below and tell me which mistake surprised you the most. I read every single one. And trust me, the next few mistakes, even worse and far more common. Alright, let's keep going. Mistake 2. Planting the same crop in the same spot every year. You found the perfect spot for your tomatoes, good sun, good drainage, they did well last year, so you plant them right back in the same place again. Makes total sense, except your soil is quietly falling apart because of it. Here's the mistake. Planting the same vegetable or the same plant family in the exact same bed season after season. It feels logical, it worked before, but what worked before is slowly destroying the ground underneath. Here's why it kills your plants. Every plant pulls specific nutrients out of the soil. Tomatoes need a lot of calcium and magnesium. Grow them in the same spot year after year and those nutrients get wiped out faster than the soil can recover. But the nutrient loss is only half the problem. When the same crop grows in the same place every season, pests and diseases happily make themselves a permanent home because their preferred food source is guaranteed. Soil-borne diseases like verticillium wilt and fusarium wilt survive in the dirt even after the plant is gone. Growing the same crop in the same soil year after year gives pests and disease time to get well established and will deplete essential nutrients, reducing plant health and yield over time. You are not just feeding your plants, you are feeding everything that wants to kill them too. Here's exactly how to fix it. Rotate your crops every single season. Move tomatoes where beans grew, move beans where leafy greens were, move leafy greens where the tomatoes were. A simple 3-section rotation is all it takes. Rotating crops each season allows your soil to recover, prevents nutrient depletion, and disrupts the life cycle of pests and pathogens that build up in a single area over time. Different plants, same beds, healthier soil every year. Mistake 1: relying only on synthetic fertilizer to feed your soil. The bag says it feeds your plants. The numbers on the front look scientific. Your plants green up fast after you apply it, so it must be working, right? Short term, yes. Long term, you are slowly hollowing out your soil. Here's the mistake. Using synthetic fertilizer as your only soil strategy season after season without ever adding anything organic back into the ground. It feels like you are feeding your garden, but you are actually skipping the most important part. Here's why it kills your plants. Synthetic fertilizers feed the plant directly, but they do nothing for the living system underneath. Continuous reliance on synthetic fertilizers without adding organic material reduces the carbon content in your soil. As organic matter declines, soil structure becomes compacted, water infiltration decreases, and erosion risk increases. Many nitrogen fertilizers, especially ammonium-based ones, contribute to soil acidification. As pH drops, essential nutrients become harder for roots to absorb, and toxic elements like aluminum become more available in the soil. Meanwhile, the altered acidity eliminates beneficial microorganisms that protect plants against pests and disease. You pour fertilizer in, the soil gets weaker. You pour more in, the soil gets weaker still. It is a cycle that ends with ground that can barely grow anything without chemical help. Here's exactly how to fix it. Do not throw out your fertilizer, just stop using it alone. Every season, mix in compost, worm castings, or aged manure. These feed the soil organisms that feed your plants naturally. Think of synthetic fertilizer as a short-term boost and organic matter as the long-term foundation. Build the soil, the plants will follow. Here is what most gardeners, including plenty of experienced ones, have been doing for years without realizing it. Walking right through the beds, hosing down tools over the soil, refilling the same pots every spring without refreshing them, piling on compost thinking more is always better, planting tomatoes in the same spot year after year, pouring synthetic fertilizer every season and calling it done. None of it looked wrong, that is the problem. The plants were struggling and the soil was the reason, but the soil is invisible, so we blamed the weather, we blamed pests, we bought new plants and tried again. But now you see it differently. It was never really about the plant, it was always about the system underneath it. And once you fix the system, everything else gets easier. Okay, you stayed, so here is your reward. This one is so simple it almost sounds fake, but stick with me. Go to your kitchen right now and grab a bottle of unsulfured molasses. The kind you find in any grocery store, costs about $3. Add just 1 tablespoon of it to a gallon of water, stir it, then pour it slowly around the base of your plants and into your soil. That is it. Here is what is actually happening. Molasses is pure sugar, and sugar is food not for your plants but for the billions of bacteria and microorganisms already living in your soil. The same living team we talked about at the very start of this video. Most gardeners spend money trying to add new microbes into their soil. But the smarter move is to feed the ones already there. When you give soil bacteria a sugar boost, they multiply fast. And when they multiply, they get to work breaking down nutrients, loosening soil structure, and delivering food directly to your roots. Think of it like this: your soil already has a team, molasses just wakes them up and puts them to work. 1 tablespoon, 1 gallon of water, once every 2 to 4 weeks during the growing season, not every week, just consistently. Over time, you may notice your soil getting darker and more active. It's not a miracle, but it's a cheap, easy way to feed the living system already in your soil. $3, 1 spoon, worth trying, a living soil that works harder for you every single season. If this video changed the way you think about your garden, even just a little, then we did something good here today. Because here is the truth, most gardening problems are not about the plant, they are about the soil underneath it. Fix the soil and everything else starts to fall into place. If you want more videos like this, practical, straight to the point, no fluff, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week we dig into the stuff that actually makes a difference in your garden. And before you go, drop a comment below, tell me which mistake surprised you the most. I read every single one. Now get out there, fix your soil, and watch what happens.